Wait a few seconds. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session, How to Act Growth Through the Microsoft Channel. I'm Fabio Pagura. I'm commercial lead from the European Microsoft Business Unit in TD SYNNEX. And joining me today is my partner in crime, Jeremy Neal. Jeremy, over to you for a quick introduction.
Thanks, Fabio. Yeah, hi, everybody. My name is Jeremy Neal. I'm VP of the EMEA region for Current Technology. As Fabio said, we're a partner of TD SYNNEX. Really delighted to be here and have the opportunity to speak to you today. Fabio will hand over to me a little bit later on. Back to you.
Thanks, Jeremy. So before we get rolling, quick heads up. So today's session is tailor-made for independent software vendors. So if you are an ISV, you are in exactly the right place. If you're not an ISV, but you're curious about the ISV universe, let's say, don't worry, you're still very welcome to hang out and learn with us. So as you know, today's session will last for 1 hour, and we plan to reserve the last 15 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat at any time, and we will answer them at the end. Session is being recorded, and you will receive the slides afterwards, together with a short survey. So let me switch tabs. Second. So we can move to the next slide. Okay. So during this session, we will outline strategies for leveraging the Microsoft channel to drive growth. We will have a short overview of TD SYNNEX. We will look at opportunities in the marketplace, factors contributing to marketplace growth, and a real-world case scenario of an ISV with Jeremy. So let me introduce the company I work for. So TD SYNNEX is a global IT distributor and solution aggregator. It was formed in 2021 by the merger of SYNNEX and Tech Data. And we operate now in 100 countries across the globe, and we are more than 22,000 professionals. So our company, as you can see, generates nearly 60 billion in annual revenue. So that's basically more than companies like HP, Cisco, Intel, or Oracle. And yet, many haven't heard of us. And why is that? Because we operate behind the scenes. We empower the IT ecosystem through our vast network of resellers. And that brings us to why you should know about TD SYNNEX, because we collaborate with thousands of resellers worldwide, and any of these resellers at some point in the future can become an advocate for your solution. So let's look at the rapid expansion of cloud marketplaces. This has been fueled by, let's say, several key drivers, okay? So in today's fast-evolving digital landscape, independent software vendors, they need to rethink about how they go to market. And one of the most powerful strategy is marketplace strategy. So as you can see from the numbers here, by 2025, so this year, 40% of all vendor engagements will be driven through digital marketplace. So this is a massive shift and is already underway. And this even more interesting thing is over half of all these sales in hyperscaler marketplaces will be driven by channel partners. So what does it mean for you? It means that you will need to act now. You should prioritize a marketplace strategy. And this will allow you to tap in new revenue streams, reach a broader audiences, and also stay competitive in a very fast changing digital landscape. So let's look at the key drivers here. So the first is it streamlines the procurement. So being in a marketplace helps partners and end customers to accelerate the onboarding of new ISVs like yourself. So, and that is important because it improves the customer experience on one side and also accelerates your go-to-market. Flexible deal making and MAC decrement. We will cover better that MAC decrement in the next slide. But it's important to understand that tapping into Microsoft global ecosystem, it helps you to reach out to resellers and customers and using existing contracts to close deals also around your solution. And from a partner and customer side, it also accelerates time to value and innovation because they can access quickly new solutions like yours and onboarding them as new solution into their IT ecosystem. And the last part is around governance. Governance is very important for companies because with role-based access controls and policy enforcement, organization can manage easily the purchase of new solution and also have visibility and monitor their SaaS spending. So now let's look at how to target better Microsoft customers. So to effectively target Microsoft customers, it's important to understand how they purchase Microsoft solutions, because that buying behavior can directly influence how they might purchase your solution too. So let's break it down. So I can see in the top, as you can see on the top, there are a small group of very large organizations which are called enterprise companies. Then on the second layer, we have a few hundreds of mid-sized companies that vary in number based on the country. And then there's the lowest layer, which is the SMB, small and medium businesses, which includes tens of thousands of small and medium companies in every market, in every country. So now, why does this matter? Because each segment tends to use, let's say, different purchasing channels. And when you align with those channels, you can accelerate your sales cycle. Let's pick, for example, many enterprise and corporate customers. Okay, these enterprise and corporate customers, they usually have signed an enterprise agreement with Microsoft. And these enterprise agreements often include a MAC. What is a MAC? Is a Microsoft Azure consumption commitment. So think about a prepayment of Azure. A company, let's say, for example, might have committed to 3 million of Azure consumption over 3 years, and they have to pay Microsoft 1 million annually. So that budget can be used not only for Azure resources, but also for third-party solutions like yours. But you need to become MAC eligible, okay? So this is a great qualifying question for you to ask to your prospect would be, do you have an enterprise agreement with Microsoft that includes Microsoft Azure prepayment? If the answer is yes, then they already have budget allocated for Azure that can be also used to purchase your solution through the Azure Marketplace. On the other side, instead, we have the CSP contract, Cloud Solution Provider contract. TD SYNNEX here plays a key role. So through CSP contracts, let's say, we primarily serve, as you can see, the SMB segment. Occasionally, we reach out into corporate because normally it's dealt directly by Microsoft, and rarely into the enterprise segment. So let's say if your solution targets large enterprises like telcos or banks, for example, CSP might not be the right fit for your solution because we serve primarily the mid-market and the SMB market, but it's still a powerful role. So to sum up this slide, if you are willing to scale yourself, you can leverage existing Microsoft contract, whatever through enterprise agreement or the CSP contract. We can significantly help you to speed up your deal closure. And the Azure Marketplace is the bridge that makes it all possible. So for the purpose of this, let's say, presentation, we will look at the, let's say, of purchasing through the CSP channel, okay? So here, I don't know if we can launch a poll. So 2 have already, no, 3 has answered they have never created private offers, you can see. And the last poll is your solution published in Microsoft Marketplace? We have 7 answers. Okay, so we can cover this topic. Let me go back to the presentation. So before I go into detail of this slide, I just want to make an overview. And usually when we onboard a vendor, but this applies to any company, this involves signing dedicated agreement. We have to go through legal reviews, building a business case, and often months of back and forth discussion. But there's a faster path, and this is the one that I'm going to describe now for you. So when you activate a Microsoft, a private offer, in Microsoft Partner Center, you as a software vendor, you accept Microsoft terms and conditions. And since we as Microsoft distributors, we already accepted those same terms and conditions, we can move forward pretty quickly. So there's no need for a separate agreement. Now, to create a private offer, your solution must be transactable in the Microsoft Marketplace. What does it mean? It means that your listing needs to have that Get It Now button enabled, and once that is in place, Microsoft handles the transaction and collects the payment on your behalf. So when a customer usually buys directly from the Microsoft Marketplace, they pay with a credit card, and the following month, Microsoft pays you. However, when the transaction happens through the channel, things work a little bit differently, but we'll take a closer look now at how it works. So as you can see here, there's an example of an ISV that creates a private offer with 30% margin for the IP. IP stands for Indirect Provider, which in this case is TD SYNNEX. So the retail price, as you can see here from the slides, is $100. So which means that the indirect provider will pay $70 when a solution of yours is bought through the Microsoft Marketplace. Here you can see the Get It Now button that you have in your listing in the Microsoft Marketplace when you become transactable. Then we, as distributors, we charge, in this example, 10% to our resellers. Resellers, when the end customers buy, they can charge $90, like in this example, or even $100, the retail price that is public. Then the end customer is paying the reseller is paying TD SYNNEX, the indirect provider. The following month, we get a bill from Microsoft with all the licenses that our sellers and end customer purchase from us. So, and in that bill, there's going to be also the SKU of your solution. So we pay Microsoft. Microsoft, on the first purchase, retains 3% agency fee, and then they pay you. On a renewal, if your model includes also renewal, Microsoft will charge 1.5%, okay? So once the private offer is created, the next step for us is syndication. What is syndication? Syndication is our way to connect to the Microsoft Marketplace and add your listing into on the platform that actually our sellers use every day, which is called Stream One. So we use a custom API. Sorry, went further. So we can use a custom API integrated with the Microsoft Marketplace, where we are able to pull description, pricing, and updates around your listing, and everything is automatically reflected into our platform. So on one side, it gives you instant access to a broad network of cloud partners. On the other, it simplifies the procurement for our resellers, because directly from the platform that they use on a daily basis, they can purchase new solutions like yours. So in short, basically syndication open up to new go-to-market channels that you can quickly and efficiently help you to scale faster and enhance also new capabilities for our partner ecosystem. So how TD SYNNEX can help you? So we can help you to accelerate and scale your sales. We can help you. We can help you to become in contact with thousands of resellers with one point of contact, which is TD SYNNEX. And we can support also your go-to-market initiatives and help you to build your channel readiness. Which we'll see with Jeremy just after my part. And second, we can also help you with and we can support you in your cloud and AI journey. We look a solution architect, a center of excellence, and we can also provide you some managed services that can help you to focus more on developing new features for your application rather than having to handle your IT environment. So thanks for your time so far. I hope you find it useful. And now I'm handing over to Jeremy. So Jeremy, over to you.
Thanks, Fabio. That's great. Thank you very much. Once again, good morning, everybody. Pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Jeremy Neal. I look after the current technology business here in the EMEA region, and we are a software company. We're a global operation. We're headquartered out of the US, and there are people like me that support the partners and the customers that we have variously around the world. What we want to talk about today is SaaS Ops. This is our core technology and software proposition that helps you as an ISV. What I want to do over the next 10 to 15 minutes is, using a case study, explain to you what SaaS Ops is and how, as it says here, it accelerates your time to market by reducing the work that you have to do to get to SaaS. So that is essentially what this slot in the session is about. And it's a great time to be having this conversation with you because there is real momentum here. We are running campaigns globally, and we have incredible take-up of this proposition, particularly in recent months. So there is a community of your peer organizations that are embracing this way of working. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to share this with you because I think it has the means to completely revolutionize the way that you invest in your software and the time that it will take you to reach your target markets. So thanks for your attention. Let's take a look at SaaS Ops and what it is. So Fabio, if you could move on to the next slide, please. So what is this about? This is about a plug and play, or a buy versus build. Think of it however you want to, but I'm sure that as software development businesses, this is a consideration that you're already very familiar with. The example I usually give here is that if you have an application that you want to build and you have a team of developers, you might get those developers together and explain to them what the application is going to do, how it's going to work. And these days, it would be more than likely and probably a given that you are going to process data, and therefore that the application would need a database. It's unlikely, I would say, that you will therefore then say to your developers, so please code me up a database. More likely, and this would be their expectation as well, you're going to say to those guys, yeah, we need to build in a database. So let's API in and work with a MySQL or a SQL Server or a Mongo or whatever it may be. And that is the essence of what is what SaaS Ops is about. It is the same principle, but it means not just the database, it means the actual SaaS operating system, the way of getting your software to SaaS. That is something that exists in the SaaS Ops platform, and it means that you don't need to put your investment pounds and dollars into reinventing that wheel. That is why you can get to SaaS so much more quickly, so much more efficiently, and to reach the market that you hope to, and to scale your business. As I say, that's why this is so exciting. That is why your peer organizations are embracing this approach and working with us already. Fabio, next slide, please. So we talked about how this, how this works, and we wanted to make this a kind of a real world story for you by talking about a case study from a recent software company that we've worked with here in the UK. They're global, but they happen to be headquartered here in the UK. And this is a company called Lepide. And what they found was they're an established global business, as I say. They have, looks like we have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, sorry.
The Lepide
I
case
need to see
study.
what's going on.
Okay, Fabio is going to fix this, and I'll talk you through it as we do. But basically, Lepide as an organization provides enterprise information security and governance software. And over the years that they've been selling that solution, as a customer, if you wanted to buy and take the benefit of their software today, you would, or in the past, you would have done so through a local installation into your own IT environment. And as we all know, whilst that still works and whilst that is still valid, because there are parts of the market where that is still what people will prefer to do, more and more of the market that we all seek to serve prefers to receive the software that it works with in a lighter touch way as SaaS. So they don't have the responsibility of running the IT, of providing the servers, of maintaining that environment. That is something that increasingly people expect the software provider to do on their behalf. That is what SaaS is about. So they were in a situation where they had decided they wanted to get to SaaS, and that also they needed to do so quite quickly for a variety of reasons. Their customers were increasingly demanding that this would be delivered as SaaS, and their competitive marketplace, the competitive landscape. Thanks, Fabio. The competitive landscape that they worked in was, increasingly presenting itself as SaaS, born in the cloud competitors, as well as traditional competitors that were making that investment and that move. So they came to us. We spoke with them, and as you can see here, what we did very quickly was to analyze the way that their software works and to come up with an operational model that meant we could get into SaaS straight away, which we did. So that is the essence of the benefit here. And this is one case, which is legacy software being turned into SaaS. There is another option, which is where we can take existing SaaS and get it to SaaS 2.0, which I'm going to say more of in a moment. But we as Current identified and agreed with them a tenancy model that meant that they could be a SaaS provider straight away. Our colleagues at TD SYNNEX helped the guys at Lepide understand what this would mean from a cost point of view. Because if you're moving from selling software that is deployed into the customer environment to a SaaS model where you provide that infrastructure in your Azure account, then that implies a completely different commercial way of standing this up and licensing it to the end customer. So TD SYNNEX helped the team at Lepide understand what those costs would be so that they could internalize that and create a robust licensing model that was competitive but was profitable for them, including the Azure cost that they now face as a SaaS provider. So a great collaboration by us all, a really, really successful outcome, and something that we can do for all of you guys, which is obviously what we hope to be able to do as a consequence of your participation today. So you'll get a copy of these slides. Elements of this, if you want to, you can look back on, but that's something you'll see more of in the news as that case study goes live. Next slide, please, Fabio. Thanks. So, as I've already said, SaaS Ops is the SaaS operating system. It is the means of delivering SaaS that you can take out of the box, that you don't need to code. What does it do? So, and as you can see, we're talking days here. From a technical point of view, we can get you to SaaS in a matter of days. That is the sort of the incredible but real sort of truth of this is that your time to market can be reduced significantly. As you see here at the bottom, it says an average of 18 months of development time, maybe 6 or 7 figures in development costs can be saved here. This is a revolutionary new way of helping you get to SaaS. We've already talked about Lepide as a non-SaaS application being transformed into automated SaaS. We also, as I mentioned a moment ago, work with existing SaaS customers to help them improve and to augment and to move forward the SaaS design that they have by getting them onto SaaS Ops so that they can take advantage of capability that exists there that perhaps they don't have themselves today. Importantly also, and Fabio has touched on this at some detail, we can publish your application onto Azure Marketplace. So this is really, really important that this, and I know from the poll that many of you have not done this yet, but if you want to take advantage of the new way of working that Microsoft is focused on and is investing in and is channeling all of its incentives towards, then you have to get onto the marketplace. What we do as a business is automate that process. It can be quite involved. We have a proven method for getting that done in a matter of a couple of days. So we can get you to Azure Marketplace so that you have a transactable presence. Once you're there, you will have all of the opportunities that Fabio mentioned about transacting with Microsoft customers that carry a Microsoft Azure consumption commitment and so forth. So they can buy your software out of their existing Azure commit. This is the direction of travel that Microsoft is fully committed to, and you need to be in that marketplace in order to play that game. We can help you do that. Okay, Fabio, next slide, please. So let's have a look at this in a little bit more detail. So when we talk about SaaS Ops and we talk about the SaaS operating system, what do we mean? Well, it is essentially these 3 core components. We provide the SaaS tenancy management, we provide the SaaS operations management, and we provide the SaaS commercial management. All of those are key elements that otherwise you would have to code in order to become a SaaS provider. So that's what's in the box. That's what you get. So your software remains independent, as you can see. By connecting to SaaS Ops, we can SaaSify your software in a matter of days. There's no code changes. And as part of that process, we can also get you published into the Azure Marketplace. So that's that's the offer. That's the way forward. That's what we're bringing to the table, bringing to the party. That is what Corrent provides for you through SaaS Ops. The tenancy management piece, let's have a look at that very briefly. What we mean here is an analysis that we will do that, as we did with Lepide, that defines which of the tenancy models is going to be right for you and your software. And it may be we have customers that do more than one of these because they have different markets that they serve. But in principle, we can get you, depending on the software that you have today, how that's coded, how that works, we can get you to full multi-tenancy, just like, let's say, a Salesforce type of model where everything is shared, or a single tenancy. And what we mean by that is that the infrastructure and the application is replicated for every customer that you have. And as I say, there may be different markets that you serve where that is the right thing to do. So we have multi-tenancy, we have single tenancy, and we have hybrid tenancy models as well, so that there may be elements that are shared, elements that are dedicated. In short, there are a number of options there, which, depending on the software that you have and the market that you serve, we can get you to SaaS in an appropriate way. We do the tenant management, so we can create for you self-service onboarding, provisioning for new tenants when people sign up. And that is all available to you through dashboards and tenant management systems that are part of the SaaS Ops environment. From the operational side of things, we look at tenant lifecycle automation monitoring. You get alerts. There's BI in terms of the performance side of the SaaS platform that you're selling. We look at the deployment and topology management, self-provisioning of all of the IT resources, so that when a new customer comes along, it is all set up and automated, and the performance of that over time. We also let you view, operate, manage the SaaS application lifecycle. So, what changes do you need to make? What versions and upgrades do you want to roll out? That is all possible from within SaaS Ops as well. And then lastly, on the commercial side, we help you and provide a commercial framework that lets you manage and automate your billing to the customer. And this is something that through SaaS Ops, we bring an enhanced and a more sophisticated set of options. So we have the means to let you bill your customer in all of the traditional ways, per user per month, and all of those sorts of things, which the SaaS community is very familiar with. But we also allow you to bill based on any of the elements, any of the metrics that move through your data. So we do usage-based billing, as you can see here. And that is something that lets you offer your IP in increasingly sophisticated ways, where it is just down to how much people use your software. So there's a lot of sophistication there, a lot of options in terms of how you stand up and how you offer the value of your IP. As I say, traditional per user per month, fine, but increasingly more and more sophisticated ways based on usage-based billing as well. And then, as I've already said, as your marketplace publishing, this is all available within the SaaS Ops platform. We take care of much of what Fabio showed you in terms of how those transactions take place. We have an API integration at the back end into the Microsoft Azure Marketplace, so that your transactions are managed and automated by SaaS Ops. Thanks, Fabio. Next slide. So, how does this work? I've said that this can be done in days, and this is really the process. So, if you were to say, yes, I'd like to use SaaS Ops, this is the right way forward, then what we would do is begin with an assessment of the software that you work with. We would run some analysis of that, and that typically takes a day. And from that, we'll be able to confirm the SaaS options that you have and the likely way forward and the cost of running your application as SaaS on the cloud. Once we've done that, we can then move on to, excuse me, a series of options and an analysis of the tenancy management. So, as I said, there may be different styles of SaaS tenancy that you need to deliver because of the markets that you serve. There may be different ways of providing your software as SaaS, depending on how that software is coded and how it operates today. But we can, at the next step, get to the point where we have agreed what the right tenancy mix is, what the right tenancy architecture is to stand up your software as SaaS. Beyond that, we get into the operations management. So how is this going to be run? How are you going to operate this? How are you going to manage this? And that is a menu-driven process that you can go through with our help to decide, how does this SaaS platform need to operate? How are we going to run it? How is it going to be managed? What happens every time we sign up a new customer? What happens when we roll out a new upgrade, and so on? And then lastly, what are we going to do commercially? How is this going to be sold? How are people going to sign up? What is the licensing model? How does our shop window need to look? And how are we going to roll that out? So, and I've just explained that might be through standard type of commercial models. It might be using some of the more sophisticated usage-based billing that I've just described. And then at the end of that, you've got a fully operational SaaS solution. So think about where we are today, 26th of June. You could, by the middle of July, have a SaaS version of your software. That is absolutely realistic. That can be achieved. So that is what we would like to leave you with and help you consider. and work with us to make that a reality for your business. Okay, Fabio, next slide. So we've already talked about the case study that we have done recently with our customer Lepide, and here's a couple of quotes from two of the senior people within that team that we worked with. Danny Murphy's the Chief Product Officer, and I think what he's saying here is that this is really about time to market. So they have been able to get to SaaS incredibly quickly. So for those customers that were asking them saying, no, we don't want to deploy this on premise. We want you to deliver this to us as a service. They've been able to go back to those people and say, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. And that was instant. So that is an incredible benefit for them in terms of time to market. I think the point that James is making, James is the COO, is that by working with SaaS Ops, and as I've already indicated, by not reinventing that wheel, not putting their development money and resource into creating the back-end processes for SaaS, these don't differentiate any of us, right? Just as a database doesn't differentiate your company and the value that you bring to market, neither does the tenancy management, the operations management, the commercial management of being a SaaS provider. That doesn't differentiate you. And I think what James's point is that by taking those elements from SaaS Ops, they are able to focus their finite development resource into their IP. And that is critical. That is surely what we all want to do. So some great feedback from our customer at Lepide. Thanks, Fabio. So that's it. I hope that's been interesting to you. As I say, this is a revolutionary way of getting you to SaaS. We want to make that a reality for you. And to that extent, we're offering you a free trial. We would love for you to take us up on this. We'll SaaSify your software, and we'll set you up on the Azure Marketplace. And that's something that we can get done within a month. You've got a month's trial. So a month from now, you could have all of this. You could see all of this working with your software. And that is something that we strongly encourage you to say yes to and to take up that offer. So that's it from me. I'd like to say thanks very much for your time. Been great to have the opportunity to speak with you today, and excited at the possibility of welcoming you as customers of TD SYNNEX and current with SaaS Ops. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. So as you can see, I put a QR code that should help you to save my contact details. So as you can see, we have let's say a sort of promotion advertised in this slide. So if you reach out to us, you can have basically the first month for free to try SaaS Ops. And now, since we have some time left, let's look at the questions. I will start from the last one because it's actually for you, Jeremy. I have a question that is around the SaaS Ops, and they're asking how much does it cost?
Okay. Well, great question. So the first year, we split this into two options. Okay. We split this into two options. So there's a monthly fee, which it's actually payable annual upfront in the first year. So in the first year, the full version of SaaS Ops is, and that includes all of the, the pay-as-you-go billing and so forth. That is $30,000 US dollars. I can convert this, give you some GB pricing as well, but $30,000, which is $2,500 a month, but payable upfront. So think of it as less than half of a developer's salary, perhaps. That's the way that I think of it. If you wanted the SaaS Ops Marketizer solution, and we can provide some follow-up information on, there are two flavors of this, then that is $1,000 a month or $12,000 annual. And so what I will do with Fabio is give you some detail on, as the attendees of this session, give you some detail on those two options so that you've got that information and you can understand how those two different flavors work.
Thanks, Jeremy. So the next questions. So do you work with UAE partners? Yes.
Yes.
We're a global company, so we can support you everywhere you are, not a problem. And also believe from Gordon's side. Okay, the next question is, I need to know if a freelancer can publish their solution on the Microsoft Marketplace and what the regulations are. So if you're able to scan my QR code, you can drop me an email. I can share with you a link to all the, let's say, the terms and conditions of Microsoft and the requirements from Microsoft side. You have to bear in mind that when you publish your solution in the Microsoft Marketplace, well, certainly you need to have a VAT number, you need to be a registered company, but the thing in terms of obligations from your side is that ISVs that are published in the Microsoft Marketplace, you will need to be able to support technically your customer. So if your solution is very appealing for a customer and suddenly you find yourself with 100 customers that want to activate it and deploy it, or they need support, you need to be able to answer to those questions because that is one of the requirements from the Microsoft side. So that the ISV will be able to support technically and answer to all the questions that customers might have. Microsoft, on their side, they are responsible for handling the well-functioning of the Microsoft Marketplace. And if your sales go to the channel, in that case, the channel, which in this case is SYNNEX, we have to handle the billing on your behalf, or if the customer buys directly from Microsoft, in that case, Microsoft will have to handle the billing. Okay. I hope I answered your question. So let me see, there's something else. Okay, no, I cannot see any other questions. Oh no, there's one here. Can I work with SYNNEX on my SV solution, but still be tier 1 partner selling Microsoft products? Yes, you can. If you become a SYNNEX partner, then we'll be even more happy, but we can consider working with you for your solution. So if you want to scan the QR code that you see in the slide, drop me an email and we can discuss about it. Any other questions? Give some moments. If anyone else has other questions that weren't answered? Can you share your contacts again? Let me tap. You should be able to scan the QR code on the bottom right side of the presentation. So you should be able to retrieve my contact details. Okay, great, it works. Okay, I'm watching. Okay, let me drop on the chat my email. It's the easiest way. So, okay, I have a question again. How much is it going to cost to SaaSify our app?
Okay, that's same answer, I think. So this is from Ashraf Hashim. Hi, Ashraf. So yeah, as I said before, SaaS Ops from Current Technology is available in 2 flavors. One is SaaS Ops Marketplace, which is $1,000 a month, and it's payable annually up front, so that's $12,000. The other is the SaaS Ops Pro that includes the, as I say, the pay-as-you-go billing and a variety of other much more sophisticated capabilities. We can follow up and send you some information explaining the differences between these two. That is $2,500 per month, payable annually up front in the first year. So that's $30,000. So those are the two price points. There are other costs that you would need to consider, and it will depend what your app is and what it does in terms of what those other costs are. And this is where TD SYNNEX comes in, because if you are selling software today, a bit like the Lepide solution, where you're providing that software and the customer runs it in their environment, depending on the infrastructure behind your software, you will now need to provide that on Azure. And that is a combination of virtual machines, possibly some database and other services that you may need. So the overall cost is partly the SaaSOps license, but it is also the Azure cloud services that provide the infrastructure to run your app on the cloud. So that's the broader answer. I hope that helps answer your question.
So will you be able to acquire new customers for our solution who are on Microsoft stack? That's the whole purpose. I mean, we work with thousands of resellers across the globe. Today you're talking with the European team of TD SYNNEX, so we cover all Europe, but we can put in touch with our peers in North America, for example, or Latin America, if those are regions in your scope. And our resellers work with tens of thousands of end customers globally. So the whole idea of using the channels, because you can use an existing contract to reach to new customers. So we will potentially be able to help you also with your solution, if your solution is a good match for our customer and partner ecosystem. Okay. So our software is for education sector in the UK. Is it worth go to market with this option? Well, we will need to look more in detail with my colleagues in the UK team. So if you want to get in touch with me, I can definitely organize a call with my colleagues in UK, and we can have a look closer at how they engage with the education sector over there. Every country works slightly differently, even if we are the same company. So we might have a different customer set over there. So it would be worth at least investigating with us. Okay. Do you have cases of success stories? Again, we will look at it on a separate call, I would say, with my colleagues in the UK team, and we will definitely see if your solution can apply and be a good fit for that market. Okay, I think I answered all questions. Any new questions? Okay, well, I think I can stop sharing now. Okay, so thanks everyone for attending. I hope you find this session useful for you. Let's keep in touch. Thanks, Jeremy.
Great pleasure.
Anything, and have everyone a very beautiful day and maybe a summer break soon. So thanks everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.